Alright, howdy everybody. We're gonna start part 6 of making tapered Western gun belts. This is gonna be a little bit on lacing the bullet loops in. As you can see, I've started. On the back side, I got my tail coming in right here. Then it goes underneath this and this. So those are just, when you do one, then you cross over to the top hole on the next one. The holes that I punched in these were a little small, so I re-punched them and made them bigger. And the belt itself and the strap itself, I don't want them any bigger than they are, but I'm taking my awl and just going through and enlarging them a little bit as I go. So you can just taper the end of your lace and go through there, but I got lacing needles. When they stay on, they help a lot. Sometimes they don't stay on, and I don't know, it's kind of a long process and a little bit of struggling. You just got to decide if it's worth if the final product's worth the struggle. For me, I don't need this belt anytime real soon. Like I don't need it for a outing on the weekend or whatever. So if it takes me, a couple weeks off working on it off and on in my spare time, I don't really care. If you don't enjoy this kind of stuff and you just want the belt, then I would suggest cutting slots and weaving the loop material in and out of the belt. Even though it's not historically accurate, it's a lot faster and it looks pretty good. Not as good as lacing them or stitching them, I don't think, but it's a lot easier. And my series of videos on making a Western gun belt, just kind of a generic title, shows you that other method of attaching bullet loops. But like I said, the lacing them or stitching them is historically accurate and I think looks better. So take that for what it's worth, and do whatever you think you'd like to do. Now I'm making these really tight. You can barely get a 22 shell in there. And in fact, this belt with the stitching is tighter yet because it doesn't have that give from the lace. But you can always take your awl when you get done and just enlarge the top a little, and your bullets will go in and out better. Leather is stretchy, and it's only going to stretch out more. So you want it pretty tight to start with. But you want to, I know it looks like a lot of work, but you want to run your hand along your lace every time and flip it so at least that's the look I'm looking for. I want it to be the front side, so the smooth side I want facing out every time when I get done. So I got to run my hand along all of that lace every time. You could work with smaller pieces of lace and just splice it in somehow, I suppose, but I'm not a professional, as I'm always saying, and this is how I want to try it. I've only ever done one other belt this style, and that was, well, probably almost to the day a year ago. So not an expert, but I have done it, and I don't know of any other videos out there doing this style. So and I know it's historically accurate because according to things on the internet, of course I don't have the direct source, but I trust the sites or videos I've seen, and there's historical old catalogs that have, it's called a hardware store gun belt, and this is a loose copy of that. This one's rough out or rough both sides, so it's not top grain, and I didn't tool the sides because honestly I'm not very good at that, and I just have cheap tools that, I don't know, I can't get anything to look good. So I just did the stitch groove for decorating, but the basics are all the same. So this could be a You know, if you were a reenactor, obviously you wouldn't be doing it with 22, but that's the only kind of 6-gun I've got. But this would be a authentic gun belt, authentic techniques, and in my opinion a little bit less aggravating and time consuming than the stitching them in. And there again be a lot of work and a lot of time. Let's just say you have a 357 gun and you trade that off for a 45 Colt. Well, you could take all of that lace out, make a new one of these, and relace it back in there and use the same belt. So that's something that's kind of nice about this. Or if you just wear out your bullet loops but the belt's still good, you could redo it again. Just something to be aware of if you're trying to decide what kind of belt you wanted to buy or what kind of belt you wanted to make. I can't remember the name of the company, but there is a company that sells reproductions that are made this way. Arizona Ghost Riders did a video on it last year. That was the first time I'd heard of it, but then I did more research and found pictures online to see what they look like and if I wanted to try to copy it. So this is my first attempt. It'll be my twist on a historical thing, but I think it's fun, and it'll, regardless of if it looks exactly the way I wanted it to look, what I was picturing, it'll look good when I get done. So you just keep, probably enough gabbing at you, you just keep it from getting that twist. You're gonna wanna, got ahead of myself again, you're gonna wanna pull down tight on the top part and then pull the bottom part tight, because that's gonna wanna kind of migrate over to the right as my right, your left, as you're going. I'll do one more and probably end off the video. I haven't really been watching my monitor or the screen of my phone to see if you can really see what I'm doing. But sticking it in with these needles, with this thick of thread, or lace. Thinner lace would be better, but I cut it myself, so this is what I'm dealing with. There's a little clamp, and that just clamps in there. That can come out when you're pulling it through. So what I'm doing, what I figured out today, so I haven't used these a whole lot, I push it through till the top part of my actual lace comes out, and then I'm grabbing that, so I'm pinching that with my fingers so it doesn't come out of the needle, and then going all the way through. So that way you're not pulling on the actual, not pulling the needle with the actual thread in it. So snug that up. I'm going to put my thumb at the top after I snug that up to keep my bullet loop in place. I think that'll work pretty good. I'm going through just the looped material a little ways and then going through the main part of the belt. And I'm not snugging this up real hard, and you don't need to. I allowed not that much space so it won't get loose on me. But I think by now you should have the basics of what I'm doing for this style, my way of doing things. Whether it's the best way or the right way, I don't know, but I think it'll, well, I know it'll work because I've done it before. So anyways, I think I'll end off the video here, and we'll take up next time with, hopefully, with finishing off both belts with buckles, and I might show you how I end off the bullet loops with each too. So that's it for right now, and thanks for watching.